Hello, I am Pramod Kumar. Today we will study microeconomics, theory of consumer behavior, and our topic is elasticity of demand. So, what is elasticity of demand? Responsiveness of demand to change in price of a good, right? Elasticity of demand is very simple. Responsiveness of demand for a good to change in price of the good. Suppose price increases by 10%, quantity demanded goes down by 10%, right? So what happens? Elasticity of demand is 1 and it is called elastic. Suppose price goes up by 10%, quantity demanded goes down only by 8% or less than 10%. So elasticity of demand is, what is that? Less than 1 and it is inelastic. If price goes up by 10%, demand goes down by 10%, 1. Price goes up by 10%, demand goes down by less than 10%, inelastic, right? And if it is more than 10%, price is going up by 10%, quantity demanded is going down by more than 10%, then it is elastic demand. If it is in the same proportion, if it is going by, price is going up and the quantity demanded is coming down in the same proportion, then that is called, what is happening? Elasticity is not there, right? So elastic, inelastic, unitary elastic. Unitary elastic means 1, 10% up, 10% down, right? So, but what we see, that the demand for a good doesn't change as per the change in the price many a times. Certain goods will be there where the demand will change drastically. Others, it may not change. Suppose something is necessary for our life, right? Even if the price goes up, demand may not get reduced. Suppose we are having luxuries, car, washing machines, dishwashers. So, their demand may go down if the price goes up. But in case of necessity, suppose somebody is having blood pressure. If the blood pressure medicine costs today 6 rupees, the person has to take that medicine. After 1 year, it goes up to 7. He or she has to take it. 1 more year, it comes to 8. The person has to take. It is necessity. So, the demand remains inelastic, right? It doesn't change. It remains as it is. Next, you would have seen earlier, in our earlier video, this is the linear demand curve. O, A upon B, A. This is the horizontal is the quantity, vertical is the price, right? Quantity demanded is equal to A minus BP. At O, quantity demanded is A at this price. At this price, A upon B, quantity demanded is 0, right? And what is minus B? Minus B is the slope of the demand curve. What is the slope of the demand curve? It represents what is the rate of change in demand consequent to a rate of change in the price of the good, right? So that is the linear demand curve. Then how do we calculate elasticity of demand? It's very simple. Elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in demand upon percentage change in price, right? It's a number. Price elasticity is a number. Suppose there is a 10% change in demand consequent to 10% change in price. 10% change in demand consequent to a 10% change in price. Elasticity of demand is equal to 1, right? Suppose change in demand is only 5% consequent to a change in price of 10%. Change in demand is 5% consequent to a change in price by 10%. So what happens? This is less than 1. Another situation, percentage change in demand is 15% consequent to a change in price by 10%. So what is happening? Elasticity of demand is more than 1, right? Elasticity of demand is very simple to understand. Percentage change in demand upon percentage change in price. Responsiveness of demand to a change in price. Suppose there is a change in price by 10%. I am using the word change, not increase or decrease. It could be either way. Change by 10% in price results into 10% change in demand. So 10 upon 10, 1. Elasticity of demand is equal to 1, right? This is called unit elastic 1. Then same change in price of 10%, but quantity demanded goes down by changes by 5%. So this is less than 1. This is called inelastic. Here same percentage change in price, but demand changes by 15%, more than that. So this is called more than 1. It is called elastic. 1 is unit elastic, less than 1 is inelastic, more than 1 is elastic, right? It's as simple as that. Price elasticity of demand is a pure number and doesn't depend on the units in which price and quantity are measured. Suppose here I am writing quantity is numbers. This is rupees. Result will be the same. I change it. Quantity is in kgs. This is in rupees. Result will be the same. Quantity is in meters, cloth. Price is in rupees. Result is the same, right? So elasticity of demand is a pure number and doesn't depend on the units. First we used in unit, how many mangoes. Then we used in kgs, how many kg of sugar. Then we used in meters, how many meters of cloth. And this we maintained as rupees. Whether you change it to rupee, dollar, pound, whatever, yen, this remains the same, right? Then elasticity along a linear demand curve. This is the elasticity along a linear demand curve. Linear we have seen. Here also it is linear. So you see here, this vertical is price, horizontal is quantity, right? This is O, quantity is A, price is A upon B, right? So what do we see here? At price 0, quantity demanded is A. Since price is 0, elasticity of demand is 0. See, what is elasticity of demand? Percentage change in quantity demanded of a good divided by percentage change in price of that good, right? Here price is 0, quantity demanded is A. This is the quantity demanded, this from here to here. Elasticity of demand is 0. At this price A upon B, what is happening? The quantity demanded is 0. At this price A upon B, quantity demanded is 0 because this is the line. So when the A upon B price, quantity demanded is 0, since quantity demanded is 0, elasticity of demand is infinite, right? Here it is. And if you take a midway between the price 0 and A upon B, what will be the midway? Since this is A upon B, midway will be A upon 2B, half of this price. Between 0 and this, midway will be half of this. So A upon B and half of that is A upon 2B. At A upon 2B price, you will find quantity demanded is A upon 2. Here was A quantity demanded. Since this has become half, here it is A upon 2, half of A. And here elasticity of demand is 1. Right? Why it is 1? The price has come down by half. The quantity demanded has come down by, the price is here A upon 2B. At this price, the quantity demanded is A upon 2. Right? A upon 2. Since the price has come down from A upon B to A upon 2B, the quantity demanded has gone up from 0 to A upon 2. Right? And here the elasticity of demand is equal to 1. So when you go to the right of this 1, elasticity of demand is equal to 1. So what you are doing? You are going towards the area of 0. So between 0 and 1, if you take any midpoint or any other point, elasticity of demand will be less than 1 but more than 0. This is midpoint where elasticity of demand is equal to 1. If you come down towards A, elasticity of demand is less than 1 and more than 0 between these two areas. If you go up left of elasticity of demand is equal to 1, it becomes more than 1 because at top you are finding it is infinite. So from 1 it moves to more than 1 between this area, right? So that is elasticity along a linear demand curve. Okay. So now we will see constant elasticity demand curves. Here you will find 0 O price, this is quantity, this is price. So even if the price goes up from here to here, quantity demanded remains the same, Q bar, right? Suppose some life-saving medicine is there or some necessity of life is there. So even if the price goes up this way, the quantity demanded remains the same, right? So here what is happening? Elasticity of demand is 0 because due to a change in the price, there is no change in the quantity demanded. Quantity demanded remains the same, OQ bar at any level of price between this, right? So this is called constant elasticity demand curve because the elasticity is 0, constant. When you come to this figure B, here also elasticity is constant, but it is not 0. Elasticity of demand is not 0, it is 1. At this point, price, quantity demanded is this. When the price slightly goes up, quantity demanded comes down in the same ratio, same percentage. When it further goes up, quantity demanded comes down in the same ratio. So what happens? Elasticity of demand remains 1 all through. Right? See, it's very simple. At this price, this is the demand. Right? When the price goes up, demand comes down in the same ratio or by the same percentage. When price further goes up, demand further comes down in the same ratio or at the same percentage. So what happens? Elasticity of demand is constant at 1. Here it is 0. Elasticity of demand is constant at 0. Here elasticity of demand is constant at 1. Right? So we have seen constant elasticity. Okay? Then what are the factors determining price elasticity of demand for a good? It's very simple. What are the factors determining price elasticity of demand for a good? See, suppose I use some medicine, right? And there is no substitute for that medicine in the market. So the price elasticity of that good will be, what will be that? Inelastic. Suppose I use some kind of pulsage. If the price of that pulse shoots up, I can very well migrate to other types of pulses which are not as costly, right? So factors determining price elasticity of demand, a major factor is availability of substitutes, alternatives. If substitutes, alternatives are available, elasticity of demand will be there. It will be, demand will be elastic. If substitutes, alternatives are not available, then demand will be inelastic, like this. Inelastic. It will be, whatever be the price, quantity demanded will be the almost the same, right? So elasticity and expenditure. What is elasticity and expenditure? It shows that what is the relationship between elasticity and expenditure. So you can try to understand it like this. There is one scenario. What is the scenario? Price goes up, right? One scenario. In this, we can have three things. First, when the price goes up, demand comes down, demand goes up, demand remains the same. How does it happen? If the price goes up, there could be three situations. Demand goes down, demand goes up, demand remains the same. How does it happen? In which case expenditure. We need to write here expenditure. Expenditure goes down, expenditure remains the same, goes down, goes up, remains the same. When does it come down? If the change in the demand is greater than the rate of change in price, then it comes down, means moves in the opposite direction. Price has gone up, so when will my expenses come down? In case of price having gone up, going up, my expenditure will come down when the rate of change in demand is greater than the rate of change in price. Right? In this case, when will my expenditure go up? My expenditure will go up when the rate of change in demand is lower than the rate of change in price. Right? My expenditure, in which case my expenditure will go up when the price is going up? When the rate of change in expenditure will be lower than the rate of change in price. And when does my expenditure remain the same? In case of price rise, when the rate of change in demand is same as the rate of change in price. Right? Suppose price is going up by 10% and demand is coming down by 10%. So expenditure will remain the same. If price is going up by 10%, right, and demand is coming down by more than 10%, then the expenditure will go down. If price is going up by 10% and demand for the good is declining by less than 10%, then my expenditure will go up. Right? So it's easy to understand in this way. Price and expenditure will move in the opposite direction when the rate of change in demand exceeds or is greater than the rate of change in price. Simple. When do price and expenditure move in opposite direction? When the rate of change in demand exceeds or is greater than the rate of change in price. Then they will move in opposite direction. And when the rate of change in demand is lower than the rate of change in price, then what happens? They will move in the same direction, price and expenditure. And when the rate of change in demand is equal to the rate of change in price, then the expenditure and price will be in the expenditure will be zero. There will be no change in expenditure. Zero means there will be no change in the expenditure. Right? Then rectangular hyperbola. What is rectangular hyperbola? It's very simple. X plus y is equal to c, and c is a constant. Right? This is the quantity, this is the price. Right? So what does it indicate? What does it indicate? It indicates, we can take it like this, it indicates whatever be the price, the consumer's expenditure remains the same. Right? This is not x plus y, this is xy. What is x and y? P and Q, price and quantity. Right? XY, one is price, one is quantity. So what is my expenditure? Price into quantity. Quantity of the good demanded, right? So here what is happening? The area of this rectangle, the area of this rectangle and the area of this rectangle remains the same. So C is a constant, and what is the C? Expenditure. So whatever be the price of the commodity, the expenditure of the consumer remains the same, right? So that is called rectangular hyperbola. This is that. You need to understand that this rectangle 1, this rectangle 2, this rectangle, all 3 rectangles, the area is the same, right? Area is the same. So xy is equal to c, c is a constant, and constant is what? Expenditure, right? So I hope you found it easy to understand. In case of any query, you can approach me on my email ID, which will be there at the thumbnail to the video. Thank you very much.